Alright, and I'll do the talking. Alright, welcome everyone. This is our Monday session of Chess Kids Elite Training on the 22nd of March. And I've got a little puzzle up there on the board for you. So those of you who have been here early and perhaps have had a chance to solve it. I think Frank solved it. If you want to type in your solutions.
Found the answer.
And we'll see. Frank, you want to type in your solution just so we can check it?
Where am I typing?
Yep, Frank's got it
That's
correct.
exactly what I said. Followed by the sneaky.
All right. Andrew, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Yeah, you're from Tasmania, is that right?
I am from Tasmania.
Excellent. All right. How would you like to be one of our guest participants today? I'm thinking you and Sasha can each take a side. Is that all right with you too, Sasha?
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
What am I participating in?
All right. We'll get on that in a second. So if everyone else could mute themselves, like Andreas, please mute yourself, and we'll get rid of the background noise.
Get them for you.
Yep. All right. Now the solution to our little puzzle. Because we examined all checks and captures, and then 2 more checks, and it's checkmate. So those of you who solved that, well done. Now today, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen. Should be coming up now. Can everyone see that picture? Okay. Andrew, do you know who those players are? Or Sasha, do you know who they are? Someone's muted them all. Anthony, can you unmute everyone, please? Sasha.
Well, I know. Well, one's Carlson and the other one's... Sorry for background noise, this is the screaming. Yeah, so one's Carlsen, Magnus Carlsen, and the other one's Aronian. Something
Right.
Aronian.
Do you know who Magnus Carlsen is?
Yeah, he's the highest rated player.
Yeah, he's a world. Andrew, do you know Aronian at all? Have you ever heard of him?
Pardon?
Have you ever heard of Aronian, the guy on the left?
I know he's wearing glasses.
Yeah. Do you know anything more about him? He's the number 5 ranked player in the world. He's an Armenian grandmaster. And in today's game we're going to have a look at Carlsen playing Aronian from the Melody Amber tournament, which is a big tournament on in Monte Carlo at the moment. You'll notice they haven't got a chess set in front of them, they've got a computer. So we'll get back to that in a minute and see why they have a computer. For the moment I'll just load the game, just a second. Change database. Have this one. Who's that? Is that Andreas? Who's that with all the background noise? Please mute yourself. We just want Andrew and Sasha unmuted, and everyone else, that's better. All right.
You're welcome.
Is what you guys should be doing a lot of, and that's playing through top grandmaster games and trying to see how they play and anticipate their moves and work out why your moves are different to their moves and see if you can come up with some good ideas like that. Okay. So, Andrew, you can have a choice. Do you want to be Carlsen or Aronian?
I'll be Carlsen.
All right, you are the black person, and Sasha, you're going to help Aronian, who's the white person. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yep, all right. So what we'll do is I'll just get the game started. Aronian's white, Carlson's black, and it's a pretty standard start. So we get this position. It's a King's Indian defence as black. Okay. Now, Sasha, you're the white person, you're Aronian. It's his turn to move. What would you suggest he does?
Bishop F4.
All right. Why do you want to move your queen bishop and not, for instance, your king bishop?
Well, I guess the bishop on F4 will probably be doing a bit more work there than a bishop on E2 or D3.
All right. Is F4 the best square for your queen and bishop? Do you know for a fact that that's going to be the best square?
No. Well, it looks pretty good because it's stuck.
What happens if he forces pawn to E5? Your bishop's going to...
You can take.
Not immediately, but if he supports, something like that, or he might play knight H5 and attack your bishop. Maybe your bishop's better on G5. At this early stage of the game, I wouldn't know. But what about the king's bishop? Do we know what the best square for that would be?
Probably D3.
Why D3 and not E2?
Well, D3, it has a better diagonal, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a little bit in the way as well because it's bumping on that pawn chain, G6 and H7. So what Aronian did is bishop E2. So he prefers that to your bishop F4 because he wants the castle king side and it's a nice safe square for the bishop, stops any pins on G4, that sort of thing. All right, Andrew, what are we doing for Carlson here? What would you suggest to him to play here?
Knight C6.
Why do you choose that move?
Because, well, so that I can push my pawn to E5 next.
Okay, what if he just plays D5? Isn't he chasing you away and gaining space?
Then I get an open file for my dark squared bishop.
So, yes, but you've wasted two moves. Your knight's got to move somewhere else. So you've given me two moves and some free space. Sounds pretty good to me. So,
That's not.
What Carlson did actually was play E5 straight away. Has he blundered a pawn? Sasha, is this a free pawn for you? What do you reckon? Would you take that or not?
No.
Okay, why not?
Well, he obviously saw something. Well, if you do pawn takes, then,
Pawn takes you back, knight takes pawn or something?
yeah, then you can play knight, you can take the queen.
He can probably take the queen and then he could play rook E8 and get the pawn back, or he might even be able to play knight takes E4 straight away and get the pawn back. All right, so you're not really winning a pawn, so what are you going to do instead of taking the pawn? What do you reckon Aronian should play here?
Bishop G5.
Bishop G5. Why Bishop G5?
Well, it's pitting the knight, which is good. And I guess you get your bishop developed.
Yeah. Now, what if he was just to say H6 on you? So if you play Bishop G5, what if he just says go away? What are you going to do?
Bishop H4.
So now your bishop's sort of tucked away in a bit of a corner.
Yeah, you can
maybe.
always change it for the night if you want to.
Yeah, but would that be good? Andrew, would that be a good plan for white, to swap the bishop for the knight?
Not really. It'll give me complete control of the dark squares,
Yeah,
and
but
I'll be
really
able to
weakens your dark
develop my
square.
queen.
It'd probably
Yeah,
be
and
better
you've gained
to
a...
pass this.
Yeah, so bishop g5 is wrong. Castles is right. That's what Aronian played. Very good. Now, okay, Andrew, what are you going to do? Are you going to take that pawn, or are you going to do something different?
Knight c6. So
Yeah,
that
why
can-
wouldn't you take the pawn? Why wouldn't you swap off that pawn?
Because because I don't need to.
So is it good, bad, or neutral?
Well, at the moment, well, when I bring my knight out, I'll have more pieces on it. Well, sort of.
Yeah, okay. So if you swap the pawn, you'd be conceding the centre. You'd be losing your pawn on the 5th rank, and he'd end up with 2 pawns on the 4th rank, so he'd have more space than you. So for no reason, you'd be giving him sort of free extra space. So what would you do instead?
Knight c6.
Very good. Well advised. Okay, Sasha. What are you going to do now? He's attacking your pawn twice on d4. We could have a swap off, or we could protect it, or do something different.
Push the pawn.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sasha? You want to push the pawn?
Yeah.
Why do you want to push the pawn?
Well, it looks like it's gaining space.
Yep.
It's also taking control of c6, so the knight can't return to there.
Yeah. So d5 must be a good move, because you're forcing him to move the knight twice, and you're gaining free space. So that's looking pretty good. Andrew, are you worried? What are you going to do about your horse?
Knight e7.
Knight e7, very good. Best spot for it. Okay, Sasha, so we've got all this lovely space. We've got our king nice and safe. What are we going to do now? What would you like to do here, do you think?
Maybe, bishop e3 or bishop g5.
Okay, now, so why do you want to put that bishop out on g5? What are you going to do there?
Well, it's developing a piece.
Yeah, do you want to take that knight?
No. Well, you might.
Andrew behind me is screaming, Anthony behind me is screaming yes. Would that be a good exchange, bishop for knight?
Well, possibly, because, I mean, you've got a pretty bad bishop since most of black's pawns are controlling black squares. Well,
Yeah.
His knight will be is quite powerful.
Yeah,
So,
have a look at white's position. His pawns are on white squares in the centre. So if you give up your dark squared bishop, your control of the dark squares is going to be terrible. So you wouldn't want to play bishop g5 to take that knight. And if now he chases you away, you know, you're really letting him gain a move or forcing the exchange. So bishop g5 is probably not the best. So what else could we do?
bishop e3.
You could go e3. Andrew, would that worry you? Or would you have a good move against that?
I'll probably either just move my knight back to d7 or play.
What about knight g4? Couldn't you rip in here and threaten to double his pawns and stuff? And you're freeing up your f pawn now. That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Could. That could work too. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I just want to be able to push my f pawn, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving
All right.
that somewhere is the general idea.
So Sasha, we're struggling for a move here. What are we going to do?
Can you play H3.
H3. Why do we want to play H3?
Well, it's stopping anything from coming to G4.
Maybe he wants to attack us on the king side, and that's creating a weakness that he can attack.
Well, since you're controlling G, well, it's quite hard for him to attack.
Okay. All right. Let's look at general terms in the position. We're both castled. We've developed some of our pieces, so we need to work out what our plan's going to be. So, Andrew, what do you think your plan's going to be? Where would you want to attack?
I'm going to attack on the king side. Going to
Attack on
drop
the
my
king-
knight back and just push my pawns down.
All right. So why have you decided that the king side is the spot to attack?
Because, well, I can't really get very far on the queen side, and, well,
Yeah,
and most of my pieces are on the king side.
Most of your piece on the king side, and your pawn chain's pointing towards the king side. Can we have Michael and Andreas muted, please, if they're listening? We're getting too much background noise. Thank you. All right, Sasha, where would you be attacking, do you think? Are you going to attack on the king side too, or... Sorry, say again?
The middle of the board, the center.
That you're attacking in the middle. Aren't they sort of blocked up with pawns?
Well, yeah.
Me too.
Well then, I'll probably attack on the king side too, I guess.
You attack on the king side too. Where have you got more space? Where have you got more space? On the king side or on the queen side?
Queen side?
Queen side. Okay, so normally you'd be trying to attack on the queen side and you'd be trying to get this c pawn up here. You're trying to get 2 pawns abreast, whereas he's trying to get the f pawn to f5, get his 2 pawns abreast there. So your plan should be to attack on the queen side, to stymie him on the king side and attack him on the queen side.
Yes.
All right, I'll show you what move he chose. He chose knight e1. So he's moving at piece twice and he's going backwards. So, Sasha, explain to me why you reckon he's done that. Is there any reason?
Probably to get his knight to d3 and push c5.
Yeah, so why does he want his knight on d3 and not f3?
Well, because it's controlling more space on where he's going to attack.
That's it. It's very important because you've got to say to yourself in chess games, where do I want my pieces? So if you've got your knight on f3, it might be an alright square, but if he's going to be throwing pawns at you on the king side, it's going to be in the way. Whereas if you want to put it on d3, it can both protect a bit of the king side and support c5. So knight e1's a really good move. Alright, so what are we doing, Andrew?
Oh, okay.
Your go.
I will probably play knight d7.
Knight d7, very good. So your reasoning for that, please tell everyone.
Oh, so I can push my f-pawn.
Any other reason? You chose there not e8, for instance, or h5? I suppose you could take it on h5. What about e8?
Well, it can't go anywhere from e8. E8,
All right, and
it's got like no squares.
yeah, and
I could
d7 is also
yeah.
it's helping to control that c5 square. So if white's attacking there, he's going to need to build up a bit more. Very good. All right, Sasha, what are we going to do?
Knight d3.
Very good. Andrew?
f5.
Very good. So you've really got in first, because as I was saying, plans are usually about getting 2 pawns together, because they can then either swap off and create an open file or half-open file for you to attack on, or they can push past, gain space, and you can get your attack going that way. So you've got in f5 before he's got in c5, so you're going all right. Sasha, what are we going to do? We're going to take his pawn, defend our pawn, develop a piece.
I think bishop e3.
Bishop e3. Okay, why do you want to go to e3?
So I can put c5.
Okay, and what are you going to do if he just wanders up here? Aren't you going back again and you've helped his attack come forward?
Yeah.
Those pawns are lunging down at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so E3 is probably not so hot, so we need a different move.
b4.
B4, maybe. The only thing you've got to watch out is that he doesn't immediately play A5. And then you can't support it with A3 because your rook's undefended after the swap. And if you push past, then you're not supporting C5. You've got that dirty big hole there. And if you take him, then you're not supporting C5 either. And he's got a nice square for his knight maybe after he's played B6 or something. So B4 is the right idea, but might just be a bit premature. What else could we do? Any idea?
Can you play c5 straight away?
If you want to give him a free pawn, you can. Do you want to give him a free pawn?
No.
No. Good idea. All right. Tell you what, let's see what he did. He could play F3, which I would have thought was the obvious move, but he's not worried about taking on E4 because his knight takes back, and that's a good spot. So he just plays bishop D2. Clear the back rank, get the bishop out a bit. All right, Andrew, looks... We're going to zap him on E4 or push past or do something different?
Oh, okay. Well, I reckon I might play F4 maybe.
Okay, why do you want to play F4?
Because it owns his black bishop. Well,
Yeah,
not really,
but it locks in your black bishop as well. It's a two-sided coin.
Okay.
One thing you've got to bear in mind is you don't want to be too committal. Because if you've got, say, like 2 plans, if you do one of them, your opponent knows what you're doing and he can react accordingly. Whereas if you sort of preserve your options, you do a move that allows you to either do plan A or plan B later, your opponent's kept guessing. So have you got a move that sort of builds up a bit without sort of ruining your plans one way or t'other? Put your pieces on a better square? You want to attack him on the king side?
Oh, well, I could play... Oh, no, I can't do that. That'll just die. I might play H6.
H6, because?
Well, with the idea of pushing G5. Or my pawn.
Yeah, but your pieces are all in the back 2 ranks. You know, if you're going to attack him, you need to get a few men a bit further out, don't you, and clear your back rank. I mean, White's 1 move away from connecting his rooks.
Okay, well then the last move I would say would be knight F6.
Very good. That's what Anthony was going to play, so he agrees with that. So again, we're moving our knight twice, but we're putting it on a good square. It's now behind our pawn advance, and it's freed up our queen, bishop, and everything. What are we going to do? He's threatening our pawn on E4.
F3.
F3, very good. Yeah, we don't want to swap off because that would give him all the space. So we've got a nice solid pawn chain now.
F4, so that he's like totally squished. None
So
of his pieces are coming across the king's side. Oh,
But
yeah.
but then he's free to chuck in C5 and B4 and C5. And you're not quite ready yet for G5, G4 because he's got 3 bits on it. It's interesting. Other candidate moves? Anthony, you want to help him? What would you do?
Hello? Oh, I still can't play G5. I want to play G5. But I can't. I need to put H6 in at some point or I'm not going to move
Well,
to
you don't want
G4.
to play H6 necessarily because that's opening up your king.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I need... I've got to open my king if I want.
Yeah, h6 is sort of a pointless move at this stage. It's not helping your attack.
Uh,
All right, I'll show you what he did. It's a bit of a funny one. He plays king h8.
Of course. He wants to do what we did against you a number of weeks ago.
He's sort of passing, but he's also saying, I'm going to clear the g file because one day I'm hoping to put my rooks on it.
That's what I did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So obviously, the f4 at some stage, put his rooks on the g file and try and get the pawn to g4, and then he's got the 2 pawns abreast on f4 and g4. More space, all his bits over there. Got to. Sasha, are we worried? What are we going to do?
C5.
We could play c5 by playing b4. So with that there, those moves are focusing on our attack. Is there any way we could perhaps blunt his attack before we launch into...
Can we play bishop g5?
We could play bishop g5, but again, he's going to play h6, and if we swap, we've lost all the black squares. And he's gaining time then. Anyone have any other ideas for white apart from b4 and c5?
Queen c2.
Queen c2 clears the back rank, puts the queen on a not bad square.
Can you play bishop f1?
Now there's a rook there. You got your rook on f1.
I mean e1.
You could play bishop e1. Where do you want to go with that?
f2.
Why do you want to go to f2? To support c5, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'll show you what he played. This might be a good move or a bad move. Let's have a look. Here we go. g4. Now, that's a bit of a surprise. No one looked at that move. So he's a grandmaster. He must know what he's doing. What do you think, Sasha? Are you pleased with that move, or you're shocked and horrid that he's made this move? Does it look good or bad? What's your initial impression?
It looks bad, but now that you actually look at it, it's quite good.
What do you think?
Good.
What do you think his plan might be? Why would he play g4?
Probably just swap off the pieces and maybe get into an endgame where he...
No. Does he want to swap, or does he want to leave the pawn there?
Oh.
Is he like creating a stone wall around his king? He says, I'm going to protect this thing on g4. You're not going to push your pawn g5 to g4 on me. I'm going to block it on the king side with my little bit of space, and then once it's all nice and stable on the king side, I'm going to push you back on the queen side and win over there.
Yeah.
I think that's his plan. Now, Andrew, are we panic-stricken, or we think this is a weak move, or what? What's our thoughts?
Oh, it's pretty
you're
annoying.
surprised by g4?
Oh no, I've seen it before. It's just annoying because it means that he wants to block up this side of the board, and then I'm not going to have much to do anymore.
Okay. Does it have any drawbacks, g4?
Well, it does open his king up.
Yeah, it opens his king up. There's a lot of air around his king now. So
And
if you can get in there...
It almost gives me a free pawn if he moves his queen.
Yeah, but he's not going to give you a free pawn. He's going to play h3 or something like that, or even knight f2, and it's all supported.
No.
So it's interesting. All right, so how are you going to react? We think we know what he wants to do. He's trying to stymie the king side and create it like a fortress on the king side before he attacks us on the queen side. What are we going to do?
Oh.
Do you want to play f4 and close it up? Do you want to swap?
Uh,
or just leave it there and preserve the tension?
We'll see. F4 blocks. Oh, we could try F4.
Yeah, you could try F4, but then you're sort of playing into his hands. He's going to play H3 and just sit on that blocked.
Oh yeah, he's got H3, doesn't he?
Yeah, it blocks it all up. Let's have a look at what he
no.
Oh,
If
you
he
got
plays
no
H3,
idea?
I'll get a pass pawn. He
Where?
plays H3. Oh well, F4, H3. I play H5. And
Yeah, he just plays King G2, Rook H1. If necessary, he can play Knight F2, but may not be necessary.
then his king will. No, if he plays King H2, his king will be on an open file on the edge
No,
of the
no,
board.
no, sorry, King G2, King G2. So he's going to put a rook on H1, so if you swap H takes G, he's going to play H takes D check.
Okay.
And then you're the one in the poo. Let's have a look at what he did, because it's a bit dicey here.
Well,
C6, look at that. What do you think his plan was there, Andrew?
to be silly. No, I don't
To
know.
be silly? Don't know?
Oh well, the idea that we don't want to be playing on the queen side because he's got most of his pieces on the queen side, and mine aren't. Oh
Queen side.
yeah, well one advantage is if he takes, I get my knight to back to C6 again.
Maybe, or you take with the pawn.
Well,
Still
either
controlling
way,
D5.
either way, I get better central control if he takes.
Right. Okay.
And he's not in, and it also isolates his C pawn to some extent.
Okay. Do you think he's played C6 because White has played G4 and opened his king up a bit? So now he's saying, okay, if I swap off a bit, I'm quite happy if it's a more open position because your king's going to be exposed? What do you think?
Oh no, I think he's played it so that he can bring his queen out, or maybe bring his queen out to B6 for check. Not that
For
does
devastating
much,
check.
but-
Yeah. The
Yeah, well,
threat of the
yeah,
check.
it'll get a pawn. Yeah.
No, the
Actually,
pawn's
that
protected
is-
by the knight on D3, so doesn't even win a pawn. Just gives me time to move my king out of the way. All right, so that's interesting. Okay,
It's
Sasha. We'll go back to Sasha. You'll go, Sasha. Going to check you?
Yeah, I think you can.
What are we going to What are we going to play?
Is queen C1? Oh wait, that loses a pawn.
Yeah, we don't want to lose that G pawn. What about this check? Do we want to get out of the way of that check?
I guess you can play king H1 or king G2.
Yeah, choose one. Which one want to go? H1 or G2?
G2.
Very good. Well done. Andrew, he's seen our check and got out of it. So our whole plan is ruined.
Oh,
What can we do now?
It's over now.
Yeah,
Not really. We got plans.
you
we
nearly got the
could.
first check in.
Yes, we did. We could.
So now I'm a bit confused. Are we playing on the king side? Are we playing on the queen side? Are we playing on the centre? We seem to be...
Well, I'm pretty sure our idea is still to be.
Whoever's making that noise, like Michael perhaps, who's not muted, please stop it. Is he? Oh, it's not Michael then.
No, they're both
Okay.
muted.
All right.
Okay, so we still can't eat the G pawn, which is very sad.
Mm.
But we can always eat it someday.
You're doing a good job of preserving your options because you haven't swapped off any of these pawns yet, so you can play in different spots.
We could play Queen D7, and then we'd be threatening to win the G pawn.
But he can easily defend it. And is D7 where we want our queen?
Not.
Sort of blocking the bishop, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So what are we going to do? What's the logical follow-up to c6?
Logical follow-up to c6 is c5.
Because we're chess players, we're very logical. We must have had a reason for c6, so now we want to work out what it is.
C6
Was it to swap pawns? Was it to sneakily go to c5 when he's not looking and block it all up so we can attack him on the king side, maybe?
C6 is not just king.
Or was it something else?
Well, I don't think we really want to be exchanging them because
Okay.
we
Because
don't
that'll
have
consolidate
that
the
much
centre and open the c file for him and everything. He's got all that space on the queen side. Yep. Anyone see a good move for black? You want to type it in to me? Because this is pretty tough here. And black comes up with an interesting move.
We could play b5. No.
b5. Does that lose pawns or something, or what?
B5, pawn takes, knight takes, knight, pawn takes,
No.
pawn takes, knight takes. It looks nice. We win a few pawns, and his king gets really exposed.
So what's your move?
We could try b5.
Well tried, Mr. Carlson. So you can see what's happened here. As I said before, white's played g4, opening up the king. So Carlson said, oh goody, now I'm going to try and swap off everything, create a mess and open it up, and your king will be exposed and mine's tucked away nice and cozy on h8. Okay, Sasha, do we panic or are we winning pawns over here? What are we going to do?
I think C takes B4.
C takes b5.
Yeah.
If you do that, isn't he like grabbing our isn't he maybe grabbing our d? We don't want to lose a nice juicy centre pawn, do we?
Well, we can take back with our pawn.
Yeah, but then his knight, he's going to end up with a knight on d5 and an extra centre pawn, and you're opening up the diagonal for the white bishop.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that may not be the best.
B3.
Well, okay. Very good, Mr. Aronin. Okay. Andrew, we're on a run here. You've got one of his moves in a row. See if we can get two. So what do we do? If he's trying to, so if we swap, he's going to take back with pawns and keep his nice solid centre, it looks like. What can we do?
That's not very nice. We could try a5 then a4, but that probably isn't what we're aiming for.
Okay. So what are we aiming for then?
An awesome move that will be amazing beyond a doubt. As of yet, we'll think of this move.
Inside the centre, the queen side, or all three.
So I think it could be a5.
Okay, let's see. Two in a row, Mr. Carlson. Well done. Anthony's claiming that one, but so you've got two in a row. All right, Sasha. He's playing like Carlson. We're in trouble. What are we going to do here? Why do you reckon he played a5? Is he just gaining space, or does he have a little plan?
B4 maybe.
I think he might be going to play b takes c, and then bishop a6, get his bishop on that diagonal and attacking our pawn and stuff maybe.
Yeah. Knight B2.
What can we do?
Knight F2 or
Knight.
knight.
Yeah, which one do you prefer?
Probably knight F2.
Mr. Aronian, well done. That's what he played. Now, is that a good square for the knight, Andrew? What do you think? Is that where we want it? White want his knight, or are we happy to have it on F2? He's certainly consolidated all his king side. He's got G4 protected a zillion times.
Okay, the knight isn't defending those squares.
Is it a good spot for a knight?
Well, I'm thinking he really, really doesn't want me to take that G-pawn. maybe.
True. But are you happy as knights on F2 and maybe not E3 or D3 or somewhere?
Oh, well, the other square. I mean, he wasn't exactly... Well, I guess he could have moved to B2 and stopped me pushing my pawn.
All right, well, we'll work out later whether that's a good spot or a bad spot, F2. So what are we going to do now? You seem to be attacking all over the place, which is good.
I'd either be going bishop A6 or maybe pawn A4.
Okay. Now, is he threatening to win anything now?
What
Can he take
probably
on
the knight
C6
move
and-
mean? The knight move probably means that I won't be getting as many pawns as I would like. I reckon.
So what do you reckon your move is going to be? A4, pawn takes pawn somewhere, or something else.
We could.
And Anthony here is suggesting B4. Does that appeal to you?
B4.
He reckons it kicks the knight to a bad square.
Oh, well, it'll give him an island though, because you can just go hard on A4 and I can't get rid of him.
Is that probable though? Is that relevant in this position?
Him hiding on A4?
Yeah.
I
mean, you want to attack him, don't you? You want his knight protecting his king or over on A4?
Good point. Yeah,
Let's go for it. B4.
would be good.
Right, so you're gaining space on the queen's side, and you're chasing his horse to what we're hoping is a lousy square out of the way. Of course, if it ever jumps in on B6 or something, it might turn out to be a good square, but we're hoping it's a lousy square. Okay. I did that move for you, Sasha, without asking, because I presume that's where you want to put it. Okay, and Andrew, what are we going to do now?
Okay.
We've still got three possible pawn exchanges, or we could develop a piece, or we could push.
We could be completely boring and lock the whole position up, but I assume we're trying to win, so we won't lock the whole position up, because that would just be silly.
Anthony's saying if you block the position, you're a piece up where it matters, because that knight's sort of out of it. Though I guess it can come back to B2 and D3 if it wants in the full.
Yeah.
Or you could develop a piece, or you could swap off on G4 or E4 or D5. Or
Yeah.
what do you think? Anthony's suggesting bishop B7.
Oh, right, bishop B7.
Seems to be bumping into a pawn chain, though. Well, maybe we want the bishop on D7. So it's supporting both wings. I don't know. All right, decision time. What do you reckon?
Turn back there, not much.
Anthony's changed to bishop D7. You want to stick with your bishop B7, go to D7, or play C5?
Bishop D7. Bishop D7 could be good. Or we could play...
Bishop B7, even better. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
He's played bishop B7. That's interesting because the bishop's sort of bumping into the pawn chain. It's developed now, so I guess that's all right. But whether I want it there or on the other diagonal, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, Sasha.
Well.
We seem to have blunted his attack a bit. What are we going to do now?
I think...
Might be our turn to start attacking, maybe.
Queen C1 or Queen C2?
Yeah, could be. Which do you prefer then?
Probably Queen C1.
Okay, close but no cigar. rook c1 is what he chose. He's still looking at pushing that pawn at some stage to c5 and getting a bit of play on the queen side. Okay, right, Andrew.
Yes.
What are we, now that he's put his rook there, we could make him look stupid and play pawn to c5 and block it all off, or we could do something else.
Well, pawn to c5 I don't really think helps with our bishop b7 move.
Yeah, because then the bishop would be stupid.
Well, I think the idea of putting bishop b7 was that we try and get rid of all the pawn chain, and then, well,
All right.
we're threatening his king.
So show me how you're getting rid of this pawn chain then.
With a lot of skill.
Okay. All right. I'm getting a bit of laughter in the background. I don't think you've got the requisite skill from the sounds of laughter, but I'm happy for you to prove them wrong. So what's our candidate move here?
Oh, well, we could try pawn takes d5.
Yeah, that's what Frank's saying. Let's have a look. Oh, no, wrong one. It was f takes e4. That's close.
Well,
So he takes you back. Sasha, you're taking back with the pawn. You happy with that?
Yep.
Yep, otherwise if you took with a knight you'd lose your d pawn, so you've got to do that. Okay, Andrew.
Hey,
so
free
now
pawn.
we've opened the f file.
Oh, well,
Can we build up somewhere, or we don't have another pawn swap, or what are we going to do?
we can eat a d pawn, maybe.
Or we could still block? You want to eat the d pawn?
Oh, we could. Well, get a bishop on that. That's not very nice.
What do you think?
Nah, we might push it actually.
Push to
Lock the
c5,
bishop up.
and then you're going to drop the bishop back.
Yeah. Seems
All right.
well,
Close, but no cigar. Mr. Carlson wants to open it up.
we did want to
Remember-
exit.
Remember White's king was a bit open was our theory, so somehow we were going to open up. We're not quite sure how, but Sasha, do you want to take back with the e pawn like that, or do you want to take back with the c pawn? Any thoughts?
The E pawn, because that only
We'll
have
take the-
2 pawn islands instead of 3. And
Yep,
I was
all right, keep our pawn islands down, so we're... All right, that's unbalanced it a bit, because he's got more pawns on the queen side, and we've got that nice pawn on e5. Andrew, what are we going to do now? We've still got our bits on the back rank. I guess he has too. His queen, both queens are still on the back rank. Anthony's pointing out you've got a pass pawn, but it's not terribly relevant, seeing we're not in the end game at the moment. What's our plan? Remind me again what our plan was.
To attack the king.
To attack the king, because the
So
king
I
was a bit
reckon-
airy. We said. So what are we
How
going to
about-
do? Come on.
How
Come
about
on,
some
be
crazy
daring.
Stuff like f knight takes d5.
F knight takes. You want to give up your knight for a couple of pawns and a check.
Well.
Right, everyone vote. Everyone vote. Is it a good idea to sacrifice a knight for those 2 pawns and a check? Type in yes or no. What do you think? Frank says I like the idea. Anyone else got a view? Sasha says he likes the idea.
Oh, if
I don't know
one
whether he's
actually-
biased because he likes it for him. Michael's saying no, 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 don't do it. No.
Oh, well, we could.
Frank's gone back to maybe.
We could, if we take with the knight, then it's a discovered check and we're winning the queen. So,
Oh,
we're not
okay.
actually winning the queen,
Anthony-
the king's
Anthony's
going to
a
move,
maybe.
but... The king's going to move, but...
So 2 pawns and a check worth a piece?
Totally.
All right, let's
So
have
we
a
can
look. Here
actually
we go.
pass pawns.
He takes with the E knight.
Ah, well...
That being the less advanced knight, perhaps.
Ah, well,
Right,
if we go
Sasha,
into
yeah.
both of them, it won't make a difference.
You're taking his knight, Sasha.
Yes, I will.
Otherwise, you're going to be a pawn down and discover check. So let's. Okay. Now, what are we going to do now? We checking with a
takes.
bishop, or we taking with a knight?
Take with the knight.
So you're going for a friendly discover check.
We
I
can
don't like to
just
look.
pass
I don't like to
pawns.
look at that discover check, Sasha. What are we going to do?
King G1.
King G1.
Yep.
Yep, I think we've got to get out of there. You could go to G3, but King G1, that's what he played. Right, so we're sitting here, Andrew, you've got 2 pawns and you didn't get your check, and we're a piece up.
Oh, but you're
What do you-
not.
what do you got?
I've got 2
Prove to me
connected
that
path
it's good.
pawns.
Yeah,
My
2
connected
connected
path
pass
pawns
pawns
are
in the
magical.
middle. Well,
magical.
okay. In
Ooh.
theory, the piece should be better. So prove to me that you've done a good sacrifice.
That would be a really nice move, but I don't think it'll work. That would be nice.
Michael says you need another pawn to make it worthwhile. 3
Okay.
pawns and he reckons you're okay, but you've only got 2.
How
And
about
pointing out that that knight on A4 is no good, so your
how
position
about
isn't
rook
doing
take?
right.
How about rook takes F2?
You could play
Oh, no.
rook takes F2.
No,
On the other
actually,
hand, it might
no.
lose the rook for a knight.
Yeah, it probably does. How about
He needs some help here. Come on.
oh,
Frank's got an idea.
how about knight F4?
Knight F4 looks pretty aggressive. And if he plays knight D3, you can mate him in one with knight H3 mate. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would.
Knight F4, do we like that, or people got something else they want to do?
Queen H4. Any good?
Queen H4 brings the queen in, looks very aggressive. Doesn't actually threaten anything at the minute, but certainly be a move you'll have a look at. He might play something like rook C4 or something in reply. Try and bring a queenside defender to defend his kingside. Anthony likes Queen H4. Have you got any other candidate moves, Andrew, or is Knight F4, Queen H4, Rook takes Knight, that's finished you off?
Well,
Remember, you are the highest rated player in the world, so
Yeah.
you must look at, pretty good moves and surprise moves and more moves than the average.
yeah.
So in this
it's just-
position, we want you to come up with something good.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, and anyone can play Knight F4 or Queen H4.
Oh, you want something good, do you?
I want something, that demonstrates you are the highest rated player in the world. Give me a really good move here.
A really, really good move.
Yeah, that shows your deep understanding that peace activity is more important than material.
Peace activity.
Peace activity, you've heard of it? Peace activity?
Yeah, I know what peace activity is.
Yeah, like his knight on A4 is not active at all. We've got a nice
No.
active knight on D5 and an active rook and an active
Yeah.
bishop, and our queen's threatening to be active, and
Yes. Okay,
so he's got quite a
well.
few defenders. So what can we do? I want some peace activity here. I want to threaten something. Otherwise it's
Want
got
to
2 pawns.
threaten something. How about we threaten to fork his bishop and knight with
How are we going to do
E4.
that?
With E4.
Oh, you truly are the world's best, highest rated player. E4, look at that. Sasha, he's given us another pawn. He's mad. Are we going to take it or what? He's threatening pawn to E3. I don't like to look at that.
I will take it.
I think we better take it. Then he'll only have 1 pawn for the piece. We'll make him look stupid.
You're taking it. You're such a
Yep, we're
bad,
taking it.
bad
We're
person.
calling your bluff. We reckon a piece is better than 1 pawn. So what do you got?
Okay.
Best shot. Why did you play E4 again? Just remind me. Was it to give me a free pawn, or was it a reason?
It was because peace activity is awesome.
Oh, and which piece activity were you most awesoming? Which particular piece? Why did you play?
My bishop. My bishop.
Didn't
My
E4
bishop.
activate your bishop, didn't it?
That's what I just
I mean,
said. My
having an
bishop's
active, what's more fun, having an active bishop or an extra pawn on E5?
my
must
bishop's
be more-
coming to D4.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
check. Mate.
this is a momentous moment. You've finally got your check in.
And I'm going
This
to
is-
win.
This is something to be really proud of. Sasha, we're in check. What are we going to
It's
do?
over. You've
I'm
lost.
gonna play
Yep.
King H1.
And
Oh.
isn't your horse going to get pinned on E4 then, and you'll be dropping horses all over the place?
Yeah, well, so is King G2.
King G2 is not
Yep.
is even worse.
King G2, you're going to get pinned again. Maybe we've got to drop something into F2. Or maybe we've got to put up with a pin.
Yeah, block with the rook. No.
How about Knight F2?
We could play knight F2. He's sort of going to build up on us. He played Queen H4 or something.
Queen F6, I think.
Let's have a look at what he played. He played Rook F2.
Okay.
Okay. So we're giving you a little bit back. You can have the exchange back if you want.
No one likes exchanges. I want my piece mobility and all that.
Yeah, so you're telling me your lovely active bishop on D4 is more interesting than my pathetic inactive rook on F2.
How about Queen H4?
Queen
Queen
H4.
Threatening, scary stuff.
Okay. Nope.
Or I could
Rook
could
take it
the rook
first.
I'll take the rook
Take the rook
Then I'll
first.
play Queen H. Queen any
All right.
other, really.
Okay, Sasha, we have a problem. We're a rook down.
Let's...
And a pawn down.
I'll take the rook.
You'll take the rook. How many seconds did you spend on that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Wouldn't it be nice or something? Should we perhaps have a look what he's going to do if we take the rook?
Well,
What's he going to do?
Queen H4, then Rook F8.
Yeah, and we're cactus, aren't we? We can't defend that F2 thing.
Well,
So should we resign because we can't get out of that horrible pin?
probably.
Or are we going to prove that we're the 5th best player in the world and we're going to fight back with an unexpected counterstroke?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Okay. I'm proud of you, Sasha. So what's your unexpected counterstroke other than taking that rook?
It is Bishop E3.
Bishop
No.
E, that would be unexpected. It'd be more like a capitulation stroke. Now have a look.
Bishop C3.
Bishop C3 is very interesting, actually, because his bishop on D4 is sitting there waiting for me to check it with the queen if I can. Is there somewhere else maybe than C3 that might be even more interesting?
G5.
Yeah, let's have a look at Bishop G5.
Ooh,
This could be interesting.
that's scary.
Are you panicking, Andrew?
No, I want my free bishop. I'm going to eat the E bishop. Rook takes E2 check.
And then he plays queen takes bishop check followed by bishop takes queen and you resign.
Oh, he can take my bishop. That's not
With
bad.
check, yeah.
Oh no, that's even worse. How
Let's have a
about-
look. What would you do?
How about queen takes G5?
Queen could take G5, but
Oh,
I'd
no,
be a bit
she's
worried
got-
if he took our queen.
Oh no, you'll just take my
Reply.
bishop with check again.
Or even take your bishop with check.
Oh, yeah, cool.
You want the bad news, Sasha?
Yes.
You didn't play this.
The bad news is, if you had to play this, it would have been a better move than Mr. Aronin played. What would have happened now, perhaps? Let's have a quick look. He could drop the bishop back. Maybe takes. Rook takes. Queen can pin it. Knight comes in here threatening to take on E2 and fork. Gets out of it. Takes the horse. Pins the rook. Gets the knight out of there. Takes the rook. Takes. And you're still fighting, but black's 2 pawns ahead. And white's king's pretty exposed. So bishop G5. would have been the way to go.
Oh.
But Mr. Aronin didn't do that. He took back. So, Andrew Carlson, finish him off.
Oh, let's do some crazy stuff like Queen H4.
Queen H4 looks good. Sasha, what are we going to do?
I guess Queen E1.
Yep, good. Andrew, your pieces are looking pretty active here. I'm pretty proud of you. What are you going to do now? You've got 2 pieces attacking F2 and he's got 2 defending. Isn't there an obvious move? Yes. Someone's screaming at me in the background.
Queen takes G4 check. Oh, I don't like that as a bishop.
No, that wouldn't be a good move. Come on, now remember, you are the highest rated player in the world. This is your moment of glory. All you've got to do is play an obvious threatening move.
No. Oh, okay, I'll play an obvious threatening move. I'll go rook
Which
F4.
one of your pieces is doing nothing?
I'll go rook F8 then.
Good stuff, good stuff. Sasha, can we swindle him? He's on F2. Let's swindle him, Sasha. What are we going to do?
Zion.
No, bishop F3. Look at that. We've blocked the attack. He takes us. We zip up here. Now it's all happening. Andrew chomps in for a check. We hide in the corner. But we're still hanging in there. Andrew, what are you going to do? Can you finish me off or are you going to let me swindle you?
You're going to lose.
I'll be a piece down.
We are a piece down, but we've got our queen out. We might have some chance, unless Andrew can find a really good move here that's going to finish us off. Anthony wants to play Queen F1 so he can lose his queen for a rook.
Yeah, that's a great move, except that when we hit your queen, you just eat our bishop.
Yeah, probably. We need a nice solid move. Come on. Black to play and force Sasha to resign. One move.
How about something completely crazy like knight e3?
What my computer wants to play. Let's White have a few checks.
Knight e3.
Yeah, knight e3. Not giving any counterplay. What about this bishop there? We're a piece up.
Good.
He's got no checks, and he's dead on h2. End of game. Bad luck, Sasha. What do you think your big mistake was, Sasha?
The knight taking f2.
Yeah, that silly knight on f2, that wasn't a real good square for a knight as it turned out, was it? And what about g4, Sasha? Were you happy with that, or you perhaps regret opening it up now?
I think it was a bit too opening.
No.
Yeah, it opened the king up a bit. Andrew, what are your thoughts? Did you play up to your expectations?
Oh, well, yeah, I thought that he needed to play g4, or it was going to be pretty bad for him on the king's side if he didn't.
But did it work out well for him or well for you?
Well, it worked out well for me.
Yeah, I was very impressed with how you opened up the queen side with that c6 and b5 after he opened the king's side a bit. That seemed to work well for you.
Oh well, I did that in the club game like a week ago, and I was like,
and I thought your demonstration of your demonstration of your understanding of piece activity was really something phenomenal too. That e4. Oh, Frank saw it, but no one else did, and of course Frank and Carlson have got a lot in common. Both being young attacking players. So that was a pretty interesting game. I'd invite you all, if you're interested in this sort of stuff, to go onto the website. It's called, I think, Melody Amber Chess Tournament 2010, played in Monaco. And they have live games and all the games, and you can replay them and whatever. There's only one thing I haven't told you that might be of interest. You remember when I showed you the picture? At the start? And there was no chess set?
No.
Why do you think that was?
Where?
Huh?
Any ideas?
What picture?
Anthony says that at the start of the game I showed you a picture of the two players. Did I not? Remember Carlson and Aronin? And they had two
because-
I think
computers
it
in
was the
front of them, no chess
computers
set.
set up. Computers were having the game. Like,
No, the computers weren't having the game. This game was played blindfolded. The Melody Amber tournament, the players play one blindfolded game against their opponent and one lightning game against their opponent. It's not real chess, it's blindfold. So it was a pretty good game for a blindfold game. I think you'll agree with that.
So,
To play like that and play that sacrifice and everything, all those
that would
complications
probably
of
why
it
he
all.
didn't play. Probably why he ends up taking the rook as opposed to playing the better bishop move then.
Yeah, easy to miss when you haven't got sight of the board, that's for sure. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that game, and out of it you get a bit of a feel for getting on the internet and playing through some more Grandmaster games, but in particular from that game, I think we should learn about where to attack and when it's perhaps dangerous to open up the king a little bit, and that something like piece activity is much more important than material. So if you have to sacrifice a piece here or there to get all your bits moving and cooperating in your attack, certainly do it, because it's much harder to defend than attack, and more often than not the attack will break through. So I hope you enjoyed that game. We're a little bit over time for today, shortly. I think I'm on again next Monday and next Tuesday night, so if anyone's interested, we'll have a couple more lectures next week, and I'm sure Carl's doing some during the week as well. So I bid you all good night, and thank you for attending today's lesson.
Bye and stuff.
Bye.
Bye. I'm leaving.
I'm leaving too.
That sounds like Anthony.
can talk.
I know.